Hey, it's Mike Rogers Show. Mike Rogers here with you today. We have a very special guest hailing from Detroit. Shadow Show is a new sound in the light of a new era, comprised of guitarist Ava East, bassist Katie Derringer, and drummer Kerrigan Pierce. Shadow Show debuted in 2018, and here they are in the studio right now. Won't you welcome Shadow Show? Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, can you each introduce yourself for us one at a time?
Sure. I'm Ava East. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Kerrigan Pierce. I'm the drummer, and I also sing too.
And my name is Kate Derringer, and I play bass, and I also sing.
Okay, so I got to ask you, Kate, are you any relationship to Rick Derringer?
I get asked that a lot, but no.
Okay. Well, I don't have that sort of a question for anyone else. So, tell us about what is Shadow Show.
Shadow Show.
Shadow Show is us, our love child, our brains combined. We're like a three-headed dog as we operate. But it's basically, it's everything. I know we're just a band, but it's something that we put a lot of effort and time into with the music, visuals, just overall experience, and something that we build upon like each time we get together. It's like,
it's a partnership.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a family.
It's a representation of us as a group of three and a family.
Yeah.
So how did this band get started?
Well, we'll start with Kerrigan.
Yeah. Just I guess kind of when I first started playing drums, I knew I wanted to get a band together, and I knew Kate plays bass, so I asked her if she wanted to play bass in a band. This was when we were like 17.
Yeah.
Then Kate knew Ava, so we got together and like everything clicked just instantly. I'd never met Ava before.
Yeah, I met her at like my dad brought me to her dad's house, so like it was like our dads and us at the door, and I'm meeting Carrie for the first time, and we're just like, hey,
All clicked.
like so yeah. And I knew
like a magical puzzle pieces that fit perfectly together.
And this was in 2013, so we used to be a 4-piece called Deadly Vipers, but then in 2018,
Deadly Vipers?
Yeah.
It
was like a kind of like a punk band, I guess.
Yeah, stoner rock.
But yeah,
we're joking.
We were smoking a little too much weed.
No, we weren't. But yeah, that's basically we started playing shows at a really young age. Like we've almost been playing together. Yeah, we've almost been playing together for like 10 years, just about. I think it's 9 years this year. But basically, like, I know, like, so we've always been playing together, and we learned how to write songs together and just really like operate as a group. Just from that early start, and a lot of people just don't have that type of relationship in their life, or bands.
We grew together as musicians, so we started Shadow Show in 2018
officially.
So after doing that, the other group, we switched gears and started doing Shadow Show as a 3-piece. And
we knew we wanted to make a new sound. We wanted something more, and we were developing as not only like musicians but also songwriters. And all three of us in our previous band, we weren't singing, so that element with Shadow Show, I'm really proud of you guys, and I mean, I'm proud of myself, not to pat my self on the back, but we've really opened our own skill to just a whole new playground, and it's so much fun.
So you ladies are like 23, 24, 25 years old.
We're 26.
I'm 25, so my birthday is coming up though.
It's very nice. I think that you guys can be very big in Japan.
Oh,
we would love
that. Literally like our pipe dream.
We've been like not a pipe dream. That is our goal in life.
Our goal. We've been talking forever about trying to tour in Japan. I just think that the market there would really appreciate our music.
And I hate to say this, but a lot of rock bands all through history, it's not only the music, it's the look of the band and the atmosphere of the band. You guys have a great look.
Thank you.
And it's really nice to see a very young a group of young ladies doing rock music from the United States.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's definitely hard work, especially being young ladies, but you know, it's for us, it's about the music. Number one, it's about just being a band, you know,
and trying to just like represent us for who we truly are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't even know how I found you guys. Somebody
right. Yeah.
It's like a Facebook message and I saw, but yeah, I don't know.
Saw it several
glad
months
that you
after
did,
sent
though.
it.
Well, so I go on Facebook a lot and I'm always looking for new bands because that's all I ever play. I play new bands, and I saw your song. I can't remember what it was called. Something started with a C.
Sure. It's our
single. Yeah, our hit
swan
single.
song.
And then I went to YouTube and I looked at the video and I thought, wow, this is different. And so I just kind of thought, you'd be surprised how many bands I write to and they never answer me.
Really?
Wow.
Well, we almost missed it because, to be honest, we don't
Facebook,
check our
yeah.
Facebook messages that much, but we're very happy we caught you.
Oh yeah, me too. I actually I can't really complain.
Just say the app, like,
Yeah,
okay, whatever.
it's really hard.
Anyways.
To use.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we should not, the more we mention the name, we'll have to start paying, right?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but so I worked as Rodney Bingenheimer's assistant in 1980 and 81.
That must have been
Right,
amazing.
yeah, you
Yeah.
Yeah, did I mention that? Okay. So I have to mention that because people don't pay attention to me at all. So and then I became his curator. I don't know, sometime last year because the former curator self-imploded. But I think that Rodney Bingenheimer played your songs twice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so cool.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Rob.
no. So I was really surprised, actually. So that means he really likes really likes your music.
That's a good
Aw,
sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other songs that you can send to me?
Oh,
yeah,
of course. Yeah.
for sure.
Full length album we released in 2020.
Mhm.
Yes, February of 2020. So that was an interesting year.
Yeah.
We have a 7-inch A-side B-side that we released later in the year in the
Mhm.
fall. We've been working on our second album.
We have a
Chopping it
couple.
out
We have
right
a few
now.
other singles out there too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, we just
We've got
just
plenty.
finished recording. Well, we completely finished our second album.
Yeah.
So right now we got to get the visuals together and send it out.
Yeah. But that is a lot of the songs on that record. I think that actually the whole record, I don't think anyone is going to expect it, and that is what is most exciting for us,
Mhm.
because what we have previously we built upon in such a beautiful way in the studio, especially thanks to Kate. She's the master engineer. We couldn't have done it without her.
Mhm.
And of course our us above her shoulder being like, do this poor thing. But yeah, so honestly, our next record, we're really proud of that and can't wait to get that in the world.
Yeah, I think we really transformed in the studio with this one, and it's just we've really matured a lot as a band.
Mhm.
So I think that the next album I think they'll really like it.
Yeah, we can't wait to share it with you.
Do you have a record label?
Not yet.
We're working
We're
on it.
looking.
Yeah.
Okay,
Try.
Yeah.
that's very well. If you want to tour Japan, that's very good. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna after this is over, I'll send you a link. There's a guy named Gaku Kamachi, and he runs a label here, and he has arranged so many bands to come here. But there's all different kinds of rules, like the
that's
Japanese.
what
What's that?
I was just saying, and like in some researching of like just wanting to go over there, we've noticed that. Sorry to interrupt.
No. So the most important thing is do not put the music on Spotify or iTunes. Do not release it in the United States before you release it in Japan.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
So a Japanese release has to have at least a 2 months lead on a foreign import, because in Japan, of course, there's domestic labels and there's foreign labels, but they both sell. So if the domestic label has an artist exclusively for, a couple of months, and then they have like 1 or 2 Japan only tracks that are only on the Japan release.
Yo, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Japan released CDs, records, and things like that are very collectible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Do you guys know who John Peel is?
Yeah,
of
That name
course.
sounds
Yeah.
really-
Yeah.
What is that? Name sounds
BBC.
familiar. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So many years ago, I used to send John Peel and Rodney Bingenheimer CDs from Japan. They would write to me and tell me, Mike, I really want this CD. And the one I really remember the most was Ride, and the CD was called what? Grasshopper.
Mm-hmm.
And it had 4 only Japan songs on it. So they really wanted that CD.
Wow.
So I sent it to them. But so the local label will help arrange a tour and a Japan release. But you just have to do certain things or not do certain things first. So I'll send that link to you. You should watch it.
We've heard from other people too that you need to like have a release in Japan on a record label that is Japanese to like really do a successful like tour there.
That's right. Because
so do you have like labels that you would recommend maybe that we could reach out to?
Or we could talk about that later.
Yeah,
I think?
absolutely. So it would be cool. I think it'd be cool.
I mean,
It sounds like a dream come true to us. Like we were like holding hands while you were talking about it. We were like, please.
So, but a Japanese label will arrange for you to come here and tour and arrange proper shows.
That's great.
Like with some famous Japanese bands, and the places are full. But I have seen bands arrange their own shows, and I went to one. I don't know. It's been a couple of years. I went to one, and there were like 6 people there.
Fuck yeah!
And I thought, man, this is not good. But there was nothing I can do about it.
Right. Yeah. It's nice that you were there.
Yeah. So I want to back up. I want to back up and talk about the history of the band. So you guys were in the band called Deadly Vipers, right?
Yeah.
How did that band get started, and why did it break up, and what happened?
Well, by how we mentioned.
Yeah, just for meeting and jamming.
The scene in Detroit was a lot different when we started that band, and it was a lot more DIY centric.
Yeah, like so
everything, and especially because we were underage, we were playing mostly like DIY, like house shows. The scene was a lot more like we were a punk band. We were having fun, like smoking cigarettes inside and just fucking like.
I think that was just you.
Yeah, I guess that was just me. I was smoking cigarettes inside and just like it was kind of a very like thriving little community.
Yeah, very
was
colorful.
Much more just DIY based and kind of like the dive bars and the smoky dive bars and little stages like that.
But also,
really cool.
more importantly, like there was a scene that, although like we're of course at the time young, just like starting out, it's like we definitely like had something to say with our band even then, although the music is different, and a lot of people definitely like welcomed us in Detroit. One of the most beautiful things even today, and just separately, today's music scene in Detroit is really great. Bits like kind of smaller maybe than it was at one point, but anyway, we can talk about that later. But yeah, basically we were welcomed with open arms, and if people gave us if people gave us like any word about it, it's like it doesn't matter, because like we're just.
It was a little bit challenging being so young and being like an all-girl band. Like when we first started playing, it was like a little bit of a rocky road that we just kind of had to be persistent and like
just like mush on
what we were doing. But I don't know, as we get got a little bit older, I feel like.
Well, at that time, were people treating you like, oh, this is a kid's band?
Kind of.
It wasn't like
Don't take them seriously. It's a kid's band.
Some people just didn't take us seriously because we were very young women.
Yeah, basically,
And
after
we
the
weren't
first year,
really
though.
old enough to be in the bars that we were playing in. And
I think at the time, like, kind of waves of like new bands entering the scene, they kind of come and go. Like, there'll be waves, and this I'm sure is everywhere. Like, every city has this, but like, kind of like a wave of new bands will come in, and we kind of came in on the scene when there weren't really very many young bands.
Yeah, everyone was older than us.
Everyone was like 30.
Yeah,
So we're like coming in kind of like we're in high school and we're playing in a punk band. So it took a minute to kind of like establish ourselves, I would say.
Yeah.
But then once we did, we were honestly like going on like we do DIY tours. Like Carrie like booked a lot, like the majority of everything. We went to the West Coast, around the country. We went to the East Coast, Canada. Like especially before the pandemic, it's like being a DIY, like, or being a band doing DIY tours is a feat. But it was a little bit more possible because there's less risk, because it's like now, like, everyone's a little bit hesitant to play, you know, blah, blah, blah. So we were able to do that. But then it came to a point where, like, we
outgrew it, kind of.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something else, and we knew that we needed to change directions. And we kind of just outgrew that.
Yeah.
And everybody did. The DIY scene kind of died out too in Detroit. Like,
for a minute.
It's not, there isn't really a DIY scene here anymore. And everybody kind of knows Detroit as that more raw kind of, you know, DIY space, like, scene, like, especially with the 90s music out of Detroit.
Yeah.
And, like,
I would say the DIY venues, because rent has gone up and not a lot of people want to live in I'd say like party house, but you know, but I will say
it was a lot cheaper back then.
Yes, but I will say DIY regarding bands doing their own thing, releasing their own music, and having like smaller labels, post pandemic, that DIY scene is well alive. Yeah, and that's like the beauty of that.
I guess what I meant was more geared towards the venues.
Yeah,
and
that's like the
atmosphere is different now.
So tell me a little bit about the Detroit scene now. I have no, in fact, I am surprised, to tell you the truth, that when I saw that you guys are from Detroit, and then I know that I have friends the Haley and the Crushers, they moved from near Los Angeles to Detroit. And I interviewed them, and I said, why did you move to Detroit? And they said, because everything is here. Everything's close. It's not like Los Angeles where it's so far away.
Right.
Yeah.
San Francisco and stuff like that. In Detroit, you can just hop in a car and an hour away, you're playing a big show someplace close by.
That's true. Yeah.
So
we love it. Clearly.
So who are the cool bands now besides Shadow Show?
There's a lot of cool bands. Right now, there's the scene kind of, as I was talking about with those waves of new bands.
Yeah.
A bunch of new bands kind of come to Detroit, and like even people who are moving from other cities, like Brigance is a cool band. They moved from LA, I believe.
What's their name? What's their name?
Brigance.
Brigance.
We don't.
Briggans.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a 208. They were originally from Florida, and came here.
Yeah.
And they're amazing.
Fen.
208 moved from Florida to Detroit. Yeah. Isn't it like, cold there now?
I know, right?
Freezing.
Yeah.
People in Michigan usually go to Florida. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
That Detroit is where it's at. There's a bunch of like, and the best thing about this new wave, to say, it's like a lot of people are like near our age. Like, there's so many bands. Like, God, I can list like Sugar Tradition, Towhead, Zilch. Like, God, there's so many.
Bunch. Market's really cool.
Market. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All the Outer Limits bands.
Moonwalks.
Yeah, of course. Moonwalks.
Secondary Colors.
Yeah. Freaking Wicked's sweet.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
Basically,
Yeah.
the scene in Detroit is kind of there's a lot of new bands, and they're all working on music and putting albums out pretty consistently.
Yeah.
So
everyone does their own kind of thing in a way, but we can all come together. Oh, Werewolf Jones, it's another one. God,
Yeah.
there's so many.
So
Sorry.
I think I've heard of Outer Limits label.
It's the
Oh,
spot. Yeah, they.
It's also a bar and venue.
Bar, venue, record label. It's like where, like, it's owned
It's
by
a watering
musicians,
hole,
like
basically.
that, like
Oh.
Johnny Hench from the Henchmen, like, owns that with his wife Kelly, who's an amazing musician, songwriter, Kelly Jean Caldwell. And yeah, it just, everyone in the scene, it's very tight knit. It's somewhat small, but also because of all the wonderful ideas and different performances people are bringing to the table, it really feels big. Like, I feel like it's just a wealth of just art, music. Yeah, I don't know. It gets sentimental.
Does this bar Outer Limits, is that what it is? Do they sell records too?
Yeah.
It's a record label, a venue, and a bar.
Yeah.
So a lot of local bands are on that record label.
Yeah. Or they play there. Like, we've played there so many times.
Yeah. We were there last night.
Yeah.
Really? Was it packed?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Wow, that's really cool. So
If you ever come to Detroit, we'll take you to Outer Limits, promise.
Yeah.
I don't know about coming to the United States. The United States kind of freaks me out now.
It freaks us out too, man.
Outer Limits, though, that's the one thing.
Hey, if you really want to get freaked out, let's go to Outer Limits.
Yeah.
So let's end part one. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Let's end part one right now. I'm Mike Rogers, and this is the Mike Rogers Show. We're talking to Shadow Show. And this is the end of part one, and we'll be back here tomorrow with part two of the interview with the Shadow Show, the most happening band in Detroit. Detroit Rock City. Oh, is that really not cool?
Oh, yeah,
we say that all the time.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.